back with you. You know my name, I hope. If not by now, then if you don't know, I'm not going to tell you. So we've got a couple regulars here. We've got Gregor and Alex. They need no introduction. If you need an introduction, then go back and watch prior videos. And then we've got somebody new. We've got a new victim, participant. We've got Cody with it. Cody, you want to introduce yourself?
Hey, my name's Cody. So my background is I was in the Navy for a few years doing nuclear operations. And then just recently I was at Ernst & Young as a cybersecurity consultant for critical infrastructure. And soon I'm actually helping to start up a new cybersecurity firm that we're going to announce on Friday.
Oh, nice.
Exciting.
We get the inside scoop here. That's really cool. And speaking of backgrounds, so while we were in the green room backstage, you literally generated your background there with ChatGPT, right?
Yeah, I did. I wanted to set the scene a little bit since
Nice.
it's nuclear power generation.
Yeah, because that's what we're doing today.
Another picture inside the plant.
So today, that's what we're doing. We're oh, by the way, let me a couple announcements before we get started. So you see down there in the ticker tape scrolling, and I'm going to get rid of it here in a minute because it's distracting. But tomorrow I'll be at the Phoenix Technology Summit by Elevate IT, and there's the link right there to register. And if you use that code right there, PHX24, you can get free admission. So be sure if you're in the Phoenix area and you want to come meet me, come see some great speakers at the event, see some great technology, whatever, then swing by the Phoenix Technology Summit. Again, there's the code PHX24, and that gets you free registration. I believe it's still free registration. I don't know. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. We'll see. It's kind of it was given that link a few weeks ago. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and turn that that ticker tape off now, so we're not distracted. There we go. Yeah, I just want to accommodate you, Alex. Yeah, that's my goal in life. So, all right. So let's bring up. All right, here we go. So today, as we alluded to, we're going to be doing a power generation plant, nuclear power generation station. And so here's the kicker. We're going to switch things up a little bit today. And rather than kind of run a more open-ended tabletop, what we're going to do is we're going to give ourselves 25 turns. We have to complete the exercise in 25 turns or less. We are taking on we're kind of higher level. We're the leadership and the stakeholders here as opposed to the technical folks, so that we can ask questions. We'll basically ask our team, ask our SOC, ask these things. And but those of you that have a technical background, we can ask technical questions, but we're not responsible for doing all the work. We're basically guiding the policies, the procedures, and all of that from a leadership perspective. And also, I did instruct the model not to penalize us for asking for advice and getting help. So let's go ahead and get this started. And like always, it's going to be speaking to us via voice. So, and like always, because I know I said last time that this will be the last time that you see that version, but because I forgot S4 was coming up, so I got no work done on this. So this is still the previous version. I'm still working on the updated version, and I still have not fixed the latency in the voice. So, all right, when it is generating voice, though, we'll unmute the voice. So let's go. We're going to call this. Oh shoot! That I just messed up the. Oh well, I got rid of the title. That's a bug. I love bugs. All right. Well, anyway, it's going to read this here in a minute. Should still be okay. I hope it is.
Incident response tabletop exercise. As your facilitator, I'm here to guide and support your team through a hypothetical but plausible cybersecurity scenario tailored specifically for your organization. The aim is to test and improve your incident response plan, decision-making processes, and teamwork under pressure. Remember, This exercise is designed to challenge you and help identify areas for improvement in a safe, controlled environment. You'll encounter real-world problems and will need to figure out solutions as a team, leveraging the resources and knowledge at your disposal. Feel free to ask me for advice or clarification at any time. But remember, the decisions are yours to make. Let's work together to navigate through this scenario, respond to challenges effectively, and learn from the experience. Setting the stage. We're at a nuclear power generation station, a beacon of critical infrastructure providing significant amounts of power to the region. Your IT infrastructure is robust, designed to be resilient and secure, with a dedicated IT staff ensuring smooth operations and a specialized cybersecurity team vigilant against threats. The digital environment encompasses operational technology, OT, critical for plant operations, and informational technology, IT, supporting administrative operations. Both areas are vital, with stringent access controls and monitoring to prevent unauthorized access and ensure safety. Scenario. It's an ordinary Thursday afternoon when the IT help desk begins receiving scattered reports of slow network performance and intermittent access to shared drives from various departments. Initially thought to be a typical network congestion issue, the number and nature of these reports quickly escalate. Soon after, the cybersecurity team receives an alert from one of its security tools, indicating suspicious activity resembling potential exfiltration attempts originating from several systems within the IT network. This situation doesn't yet seem to affect the OT systems, but the precise scope isn't clear. Given the critical nature of your operations, any threat to your IT infrastructure could have severe implications if it spreads, or if critical OT systems are jeopardized. Your team must quickly assess the situation, contain the potential threat, and ensure the continued safe operation of the power plant. Time is of the essence, and the consequences of inaction could be dire. How will you respond?
Well, she didn't tell us that we only have 25 turns, but we'll see if that setting I put in there holds true. So, all right, I'm gonna go ahead and I forgot to tell everybody that nuclear generation is not my area of expertise, and so I'm gonna have to rely strictly on my cybersecurity skills. But I'm gonna leave it mostly up to you guys to kind of guide this. I'm the note taker. Where do you guys want to start? So we do have it is suspicious activity. So I mean, I think at this point we can go ahead and say, yeah, we have a cyber incident and activate our plan because it does resemble exfiltration attempts. Maybe we want to investigate that further. What do you guys think?
Yeah, we'd want to investigate it and then probably inform the operating team that there is a potential incident under investigation, so that way they can take a look at the operating conditions and just keep a more vigilant observation on it.
Yeah, and we most likely have an internal SOC if they can provide more information, and maybe also this administrators to see if they see the more packets going through the firewalls and maybe block it.
Do we need to start getting ready to notify the nuclear safety regulator?
Yeah, we might need to prepare this. Okay, so we're going to have the SOC investigate the traffic further and block. Do we know where the traffic is going? We don't really know much about it yet, do we? We don't want to just start cutting off communication.
No, that's why we should look on the firewall, right? So that's.
Well, I mean, at the perimeter.
Yeah.
Perimeter firewall of what? The
overall organization, wasn't it? The Gregor?
Yeah, absolutely.
Probably specifically the OT-IT boundary.
Yeah. Speaking of that, do we want to see what OT guys will need to disconnect and run isolated while we clean up the IT side of things?
To work manually?
We
I don't know.
we should ask it. Can you ask it if the OT system is separated through the use of data diodes? That's something that's commonly used
Okay.
in the nuclear.
So we'll prepare to. I want to do Alex's on there too. Notify regulatory authorities if needed. And then we have a question here. Question: do we have a data diode between the OT and IT or a standard firewall? All right, let's start with that.
What about the prepare for disconnection?
Oh yeah, well I think I wanted to ask the question
Okay,
of the
that's a bit
diode
more
first. Yeah.
Nah, it's more important.
All right. Man, I just realized I haven't eaten yet today.
That busy.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Here we go. Yep. So it tells us our turn. Turn one. All right. So there is a robust. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and let this read it out. Do we have an inject yet? No. All right. We really do need to get this latency fixed. I'll work on that this weekend. Before she starts talking. By the way, I finished everything in my book. I want to tell everybody. My book is all completely finished. The Kindle version will drop any day now.
Your
Wait,
actions to further investigate the suspicious activity kick off immediately. The IT team informs the operations team about the ongoing issues, emphasizing the importance of vigilance and preparation for any operational impact. The operations team acknowledges the information and begins reviewing contingency procedures, ensuring they're ready to respond to any indication of trouble spreading to OT systems. The Security Operations Center, SOC team, dives into an in-depth analysis, scrutinizing logs from affected systems, CM, security information and event management, alerts, and traffic through the perimeter firewalls. This thorough review aims to identify patterns, sources of suspicious activity, and any potential breach points. Regulatory authorities have not been notified yet, but preparations are made to do so according to protocol, should the need arise. Regarding your question about the infrastructure protections between the OT and IT environments, there is a robust, industry-standard firewall in place rather than a data diode. This firewall is configured with strict rules intended to allow only necessary communication between the IT and OT networks, based on prior identified needs and thorough security review processes. Immediate findings. SOC analysis. The initial analysis reveals that the suspicious activity includes multiple instances of data packets that appear to be systematically probing internal network ports, some of which are directed toward the IP ranges reserved for OT devices. Although the firewalls have prevented direct access so far, the scope and intensity of these attempts are concerning. Log insights. The logs from the CM system and perimeter firewall show that the probing attempts began approximately 3 hours ago and have steadily increased in frequency. The source IPs for these attempts are mostly external but spoofed, making immediate source identification challenging. Incident severity escalation. Given these findings, the severity of the incident is escalated. The nature of activity observed calls for a consideration of this as a potential advanced persistent threat, APT, aiming to map out the network for possible exploitation. Immediate recommendations. 1. Enhanced monitoring. Increase the monitoring intensity, especially focusing on traffic attempting to cross between the IT and OT networks. 2. Isolation measures. Consider temporarily increasing the restrictions on the firewall separating IT and OT networks to block all non-essential traffic until more is known. 3.
There's
Incident
Alex's.
response plan. Activation. If not already done, formally activate the incident response plan and assemble the incident response team for a comprehensive response. 4. Contact external support. If in-house capabilities are stretched thin or if specialized expertise is needed, reach out to external cybersecurity support or partners for assistance. Next steps. What will you do?
So just FYI, in case I didn't say it earlier, I don't remember if I did, but so we're doing this at a higher level, more of a procedural thing. So we did tell it to give us recommendations or kind of some steps that we can take and choose from at the end of this, rather than leaving it more open ended. So,
Yeah, it's already good.
Yeah, since we're activating the IR plan, the external support, we might want to contact the transmission operators if they can offload some of our power to another power plant in case we need to shut down.
Oh, emergency measure, yeah.
Yeah, because like having a gigawatt suddenly disappear
yeah, and
normally
let's go
doesn't
ahead
tend to
and
make good operators happy.
so also have the SOC intensify like that. Intensify the monitoring and investigation. Let's go ahead. Do y'all want to go ahead and isolate? Just cut all traffic between OT and IT.
Yes.
Yep.
And I presume we probably have some sort of OT monitoring solution.
We'll ask it. I don't know if we do or not.
Yeah. Also, what spare kit do we have in case we need to swap stuff out?
Yep. So, question: do we have any OT threat monitoring on the OT side?
But if I understand it right, they're still probing. So, Anna, from our IT network. So, we also should check if we have any compromised host or maybe any port that they can come in from.
Yeah. So, I mean, do we need to contact an external DFIR team?
We may need to hit up the OT vendor.
So let's reach out to our DFIR vendor. Oops, where am I at?
Yeah, and then one more thing to do with the operations team. Ask them to review the operation logs to look for any anomalies or anything.
Especially given it kicked off about 3 hours ago, or do we want to? So we're not reaching out to the OT vendor.
What we can ask it. I mean, should we reach out? I mean, I don't know if we need to yet.
Okay. I was thinking in case we have an inject like they're busy, they won't be able to respond immediately.
Yeah, I guess we can ask it the question: do we have
true.
Do we have an OT vendor contract or something, or someone on call?
I think we should.
Yeah, for on call support.
The other thing I was going to say was, and then we need to focus the investigation on finding. So let's focus the investigation on finding the it's kind of what Gregor was saying, but finding the compromised
Host or entry
assets,
attack vectors,
and entry, etc. All right, let's go with that for now.
Yeah, just before we get in, is worrying about like restoring from backups that too low level for this sort of exercise, or like a gold?
No, we definitely need to do that. I think we do need to start preparing.
Then we'd probably want to have the IT crew dig out, verify the gold image, and then test it on some not essential IT kit, just to, it ain't a backup if you can't restore it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, all right, let's see. Oh, and we got an inject. We'll read the inject later. You can't see it right now. All right, but now we're at turn 2.
I read it.
So
I wish I
you already read it. Screw you. All right. It gave us a lot of information. All right. I really need to fix this latency because I don't want to read it all, but I also, it's annoying waiting, and I have the fix, I just haven't implemented it yet. So.
Upon declaring a cyber incident and activating the incident response plan, the environment becomes one of heightened alert and focused action. You promptly take several significant steps to mitigate potential threats and prepare for various outcomes. Communication with transmission operators. You reach out to transmission operators, alerting them to the potential for operational disruption. They agree to prepare for offloading power if necessary, appreciating the proactive communication. This coordination ensures that, in the worst-case scenario where a shutdown is needed, the impact on the power supply to the region will be minimized. Enhanced SOC activities. The Security Operations Center is instructed to intensify monitoring and investigations. They employ advanced threat hunting techniques to trace the origins of the suspicious activity, focusing on identifying compromised assets and the primary entry points used by the attackers. Isolation between IT and OT networks. Following your directive, the connection between IT and OT networks is further isolated. The firewall rules are adjusted to significantly limit traffic, ensuring that only the most critical communications are allowed. This drastic step is deemed necessary under the circumstances to protect essential operational technology from potential compromise. External DFIR vendor engagement. Contact is made with your digital forensics and incident response (DFIR) vendor, who are on standby to provide further support. They begin preliminary preparations to assist, ensuring they can hit the ground running if called upon. Operations team checks. The operations crew undertakes a thorough review of OT logs for anomalies. This deep dive aims to catch any signs of malicious activity or irregularities that might have gone unnoticed. Your questions answered. OT threat monitoring. Yes, there is an OT threat monitoring system in place, designed with the specific nuances and protocols of OT environments in mind. This system operates independently from IT security tools to provide specialized detection capabilities for OT network anomalies.
There's a
OT
win.
vendor support. There is indeed a contract with an OT cybersecurity vendor that specializes in operational technology. This on-call support agreement allows for rapid deployment of OT-specific cybersecurity expertise and interventions should it be necessary. Immediate discoveries, compromised assets and entry points. SOC's intensified efforts uncover a small number of IT network assets that show signs of compromise, including a compromised email account used in a phishing attack and lateral movement to access file servers. Operations logs review. The review of operations logs has not flagged any immediate anomalies yet. The OT threat monitoring system hasn't raised any alerts, suggesting, for the moment, that the OT network remains secure. Inject. As preparations ramp up, a key member of your cybersecurity staff reports having tested positive for COVID-19, unable to physically attend any in-person response activities, though they are still available for remote support. Next steps. What actions will you take next?
Party like it's 2021 again?
Yeah, I had to, because I would have got banned. This video would have got banned like everywhere if they would have said that. Did I successfully beep it?
You did.
Yeah.
All right. All right. So a key member of my, okay. So that's going to be a problem because what if the entire, okay, either way, that's a pretty interesting, a little bit like a little older, but it's an interesting inject.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that one.
We'll just have to take one for the team.
Yeah. All right. So, I mean, to Alex's point, I think that I'll start checking backups.
I will say it's interesting that it, instead of just disconnecting IT from OT, it said we'll just adjust the firewall rules so it's more strict. But I know a lot of organizations usually practice just straight up unplugging the network from the IT network.
Yeah. I think.
Yeah, we definitely should do that. Say that the
Yeah.
computers unplug the network and have the DFR team look at the computers.
Let's go ahead and physically disconnect. Look at that.
Die
I did
connect.
it.
When are we going to get mathematical?
It was probably the staff member that's sick. He was like, "Oh, I'll just change the firewall rules."
Yeah. I can't come
I
in.
can't get there.
So
Probably a dumb question, but I'll ask it anyway, and then everyone can point and laugh. Is our network monitoring kit on protected power feeds, like UPS protected power feeds or the like?
I mean, I imagine so. Well, I guess we'll cross that bridge when we get there. And
Okay.
so so far we do have so we have some IT network that shows signs of IT network assets that show signs of compromise, and an email account using phishing attack. Okay, so basically, we probably need to notify users to change credentials.
Suspend the implicated credentials.
Yeah, lock out the compromised account for now. How about see if we can? Well, we'll probably need to pull the compromised assets offline for now.
Yeah, pull the network offline. Don't know if the DFR needs the RAM, but we should check AD if we have that thing. Don't know if we already went to Azure or we still have an Active Directory on-prem. If we should check it. Could be they had been Kerber roasting and are already there.
Yeah.
You're suspecting the AD setup.
Also, I mean, that's the first thing they would most likely move to, right? They got on the computer, did a credential dump. With a bit of a luck, they got an admin account. With that, they went up to the AD, looked around, found, oh, nice, OT, let's go there. And they're from somewhere, they're like probing Nmap or whatever, I don't know, if they can get into the OT network. So
Yeah, like are the IT and OT separate domains, or are they all lumped in?
yeah, I don't hope that they're one.
I'm assuming they're one domain
Oh.
for cheaper.
God. Might
What,
be.
not-
I don't know.
What? Not cynical enough?
No, I didn't get it. But yes.
Hopefully, I hid that inject faster for Alex's fast prying eyes. Hurry up and read.
Yeah.
Come on.
You got that one.
Come on. Yeah, I need to fix this. This latency is irritating.
So you were saying your book is coming out this week on Kindle?
Well, it should be dropping. I don't know exactly when it's going to drop, but I know everything is finished. All of the code is finished and working and refactored.
Your team swiftly responds to the evolving situation with a series of decisive actions aimed at securing the network, assessing the impact, and preparing for possible recovery operations. Backup review. The IT team starts a thorough check of all backups, focusing on integrity and availability for a potential recovery scenario. They ensure that the backups are untampered and recent enough to be useful, while also checking for the presence of any anomalies that might indicate they were compromised prior to the attack. Physical disconnection. Taking the isolation between IT and OT networks a step further, you opt for a physical disconnection. This strong move effectively eliminates any possible digital pathway between the two environments, significantly reducing the risk of cross-contamination until the full extent of the incident can be assessed. Credential changes. Account lockout. An urgent communication is dispatched to all users, directing them to change their credentials as a precautionary measure. Simultaneously, the compromised account identified by the SOC is locked out, preventing any further abuse by the attackers. Compromised assets handling. The assets identified as compromised are taken offline. This includes any computers, servers, or network equipment found to be part of the attack vector. They will be quarantined for a detailed forensic analysis to understand the breach method and scope of access. Active Directory and Cloud Infrastructure Review. A targeted review of your Active Directory, AD server, and any cloud infrastructure is initiated. This is to identify any signs of unauthorized access, changes in permissions, or the creation of unauthorized accounts that could signal an attempt at lateral movement or privilege escalation. Lateral movement investigation. Your cybersecurity team begins a meticulous investigation into the possibility of lateral movement within the network. This includes an analysis of logins, file accesses, and any anomalous network traffic patterns that could indicate the attackers moving within your systems. Immediate findings. Backup integrity. Preliminary checks indicate that your backups appear intact and no anomalies have been detected so far. This is a positive sign for potential recovery options. Active Directory. Cloud review. The AD server review uncovers a few irregular login attempts that appear to be unsuccessful, but nothing indicating a successful compromise. The cloud infrastructure shows no signs of unauthorized access. Lateral movement signs. The investigation reveals a few suspicious activities that could indicate attempts at lateral movement. Details like unusual remote login attempts and unexpected file access patterns are flagged for further analysis. Inject. During the review of cloud infrastructure, it's discovered that a seldom used but still enabled cloud storage container, which was supposed to be decommissioned, contains outdated copies of sensitive operational documents.
Oh.
Although not compromised, it highlights a lapse in the decommissioning process and potential exposure risk. Question for your team. Given the physical disconnection between IT and OT networks, how do you plan to maintain operational oversight and communicate effectively between teams relying on shared digital resources, now temporarily inaccessible across the divide? Next steps. What actions will you take next?
I think that question was specifically for Cody.
Seems like it.
I mean, we shouldn't
Well-
really be having too many like critical communication going on between IT and OT in this environment, but I guess maybe if there's like reporting requirements or restoring backups or something, I don't know.
Yeah, I would imagine it'd only be reporting requirements because everything control-wise should be within the OT system.
Yeah.
On the OT side,
Okay. What?
should be the key word.
Yeah, so
They should have had data diodes, but they didn't.
yeah. So regarding the question, for us, so no critical operations communication should be going between IT and OT. The only possible communication that might be needed could be, historian or accounting data for regulatory reporting. However, we can copy that data over later from the OT side
Yeah,
historians.
and the regular's been informed, so I mean they know, they understand.
Yeah, yeah.
More of a reactor physics question here for you, Cody. Would it be a good or even advisable to actually start throttling the power output back, so if we do need to shut down, we lower xenon levels and thus less xenon dead time?
Yeah, it would if so I guess our question can be, has the transmission operator been able to shift load away from our plant? And then if so, let's try to lower power levels. Yeah, the xenon thing, that's a good point, because that would, for context, if you go from 100% to 0 in a scram,
what we need to basically pull back. What would be the proper terminology there?
Decrease power output, so we don't.
Yeah. Yeah, decrease power output. That's exactly.
Well, yeah, because what I was trying to get at was, because as following what Cody said, if you slam stop a solid fuel reactor, basically then the xenon build up will preclude restart for a while, because it just hoovers up neutrons like they're going out of fashion.
Yeah, so if you have
to remove the sensitive documents,
it takes a long time
Yes.
to get back up to power, unless you do it really fast, which the commercial world doesn't typically do that.
Yeah, whereas you say you throttle back to half or 1/4 power, then you're still burning out xenon, and the equilibrium level will be lower, thus less dead time, meaning you can restart easier if you need to, or whatever the grid operators manage to shift.
So, and here's another question too. Are the attempted lateral movement attempts still ongoing, or have we stopped
their sources
with the disconnections?
Yeah, and we should ask what were what were those files in particular that it accessed that could point us to a particular OT system, or function.
Well, they didn't access those. We just found them, right? We just basically found that there was no attempt at accessing those.
S3 bucket.
Yeah. Well, it says unexpected file access patterns.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What were the files associated with the unexpected access attempt patterns? I never misspell anything.
Of course not.
We all know that.
All right, let's go with that for now. See what the TTX gods have in store for us. Hey, I think I can change this one now without killing it. Yeah, so let's go. There we go.
Yep.
Came back. It's only a slight bug. I just got to fix that. There's so much stuff I have to do. All right. Oh, did I expose an inject? All right.
Yeah.
Shut up.
All right.
Yes. Real quick. So the book is all of the demo videos for each of the scripts are also uploaded to the Code in Action. A few caption mistakes, I got to have them fixed, but did all that. But yeah, it's all done. The book's done. It's indexed. I have
approach to maintaining operational integrity despite the strict separation now enforced between the IT and OT networks. Your practical solution for managing regulatory reporting data ensures compliance without compromising security during this critical period. Sensitive Documents Management. Prompt action is taken to remove the outdated sensitive documents found within the cloud storage container, addressing the immediate risk of potential exposure. Moreover, this incident prompts a thorough review of both your current and decommissioned digital assets to ensure no other such lapses have occurred, bolstering your data management practices. Transmission operator coordination. The transmission operators confirm they have successfully begun to shift power requirements away from your station, thanks in part to the early notification and coordination. In response, your operations team carefully begins the process to decrease power output accordingly, ensuring stability and safety in the power grid while mitigating any potential risk to your operations. Lateral movement attempts. Disconnections. The efforts to isolate compromised assets and physically disconnect the IT/OT networks appear to have significantly impeded the attacker's ability to move laterally within your systems. Monitoring since the implementation of these measures has not detected additional unauthorized actions that could be attributed to lateral movements. This suggests that the active defense measures have effectively hindered the attacker's progress. Analysis of unexpected access patterns. The unexpected file access patterns were traced back to access attempts on several sensitive but non-critical project documents within the IT environment. These documents were related to future infrastructure planning, rather than immediate operational technologies or procedures. It's unclear if the attackers deemed these files of particular interest, or if the access attempts were exploratory in nature. Inject. In response to the situation's gravity and the necessary operational adjustments, a small group of employees, not privy to the incident's specifics, begins to circulate rumors and speculation about potential plant shutdowns. This leads to heightened anxiety among the workforce and could pose a risk of misinformation spreading both internally and externally. Questions for further
We need
clarification.
to execute those employees.
1. How will you address the internal concerns and misinformation potentially spreading among employees to ensure morale remains high and operational integrity is not compromised by speculative panic? 2. With the primary immediate threats seemingly contained for now, what specific steps do you plan to initiate in terms of forensics on the compromised assets and broader review of your security posture to prevent similar incidents in the future? Next step.
All right. So, yes, kill the. Oh, sorry. So
That's a
I think we should
get out in front of the.
contact all department heads and have them immediately communicate with their staff the true nature of the incident and quell. How do you spell quell?
Yeah.
Also, while we're in age of social media, we should contact our PR person to prepare
Yeah.
a post. Should there
Contact
be any
PR
TikToks or something?
to get ahead of any external exposure. Prepare statements and monitor social media. I think also let's. I don't want to do DFIR ourselves, so let's call in our DFIR for
Deep dive forensics.
forensics and analysis. Notify for regulatory authorities of the status.
The grid
And I
operator.
also think we also need to go ahead and restore compromised assets now that we seem to have stopped the lateral movement. Anything else? I still think we should execute all the employees spreading rumors. Let's go into like a police state mode and like make them disappear.
Wrong episode. That was the Death Star.
Oh, sorry.
Should do that.
What else? That's for actually hardening posture, like, I don't know, traffic whitelists.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So how about this? We will be taking note of all findings in order to adjust our system and network hardening.
And training for the employees to not click on suspicious emails.
Yeah, training.
Yeah.
Additional security training for the staff. All right, let's go with that for now. I feel like we got off the hook early on this one. I feel like it didn't really challenge us too much.
Yeah.
Well, it suggest an advanced threat.
That's because it knows that I have to leave and get on a plane and and take we don't have time. We can't go overtime on this one. So
yeah,
maybe
the only other thing we could have done, since with the misinformation, is tell like the local FBI or Secret Service office about the potential for that. Since something that that could cause a lot of panic.
True, if it's an APT, makes sense. Yeah.
All right, man. We have DFIR findings.
No inject.
Yeah, I think we can end it. I'm a little disappointed in this one, but that's because we're getting good. We're good, right? And I did tell it to keep it high level, and it's not really challenging us that much. This is kind of an example of a quick exercise.
Yeah.
In response to the rising internal concerns and potential external exposure risk, your team deploys a coordinated communication strategy while advancing the incident response actions to secure the network and analyze the breach thoroughly. Internal communication. All department heads are promptly briefed on the situation's nature and status, equipped with factual information to dispel rumors and address their team's concerns directly. This move helps stabilize morale and maintain operational focus, reducing the spread of unfounded rumors and panic within the organization. Public relations management. The PR team springs into action, preparing statements to accurately represent the incident's status without causing undue alarm externally. They initiate monitoring of social media and news outlets to swiftly counteract any misinformation and reassure stakeholders of your effective response and control over the situation. Engagement of DFIR team. Calling in the Digital Forensics and Incident Response (DFIR) team marks a crucial phase in understanding and documenting the attack's nature, entry points, and scope. Their expertise will be vital in tracing the attack vectors, assessing the damage comprehensively, and recommending enhancements to your security posture to forestall similar incidents. Regulatory notification. Recognizing the critical nature of the infrastructure you manage, notifications are sent to relevant regulatory authorities, providing them with an overview of the incident, actions taken, and the current status. This ensures compliance with regulatory reporting obligations and underscores your commitment to transparency and safety.
Yes.
Restoration of compromised assets. With the primary threat vectors contained and lateral movements halted, the focus shifts to restoring the compromised assets. This carefully managed process involves reinstating systems from clean backups, ensuring no remnants of the compromise persist, and closely monitoring for any signs of anomaly. Post-incident review and hardening. Acknowledging the importance of learning from this incident, your team is preparing to document all findings in a comprehensive post-incident review. This will inform the necessary adjustments in system and network hardening strategies, and identify areas where additional security training for staff can fortify your organization's defenses against future attacks. Immediate discoveries. Actions. DFIR initial findings. The DFIR team's initial sweep corroborates the isolation of the attack to the IT environment, with no evidence of successful penetration into OT systems. Their preliminary analysis suggests a sophisticated phishing attack as the entry point, exploiting a combination of social engineering and previously undetected vulnerabilities within your software environment. Employee morale and external perception. Early feedback indicates that the direct communication strategy has significantly alleviated concerns among employees, restoring a sense of confidence and control. Similarly, the proactive engagement on the PR front has helped manage external perceptions effectively, keeping speculative stories at bay.
This is
Question
why you
for
hire
your
Oompa
team.
Loompas.
As you proceed with these actions, would you consider conducting a full review of your incident response plan based on the lessons learned from this scenario? What specific areas would you focus on improving? Next steps. What actions will you take next?
I mean, obviously, but that's outside the scope of this exercise. So, so answer to your question.
Return to power. Tell the control team.
Obviously, but that is outside the scope of this exercise. Next, let's restore full power capacity, capabilities capacity, whatever.
And let the grid operator know.
Yep. Let the other, what were they? The other
Transmission operator.
no.
And regulatory authorities.
Say, let's end this exercise and give us the after action report.
Yeah. One thing to change is the that isolation procedure. You
Yeah.
have to 3 times to isolate it.
I'm going to go here. I'm going to turn this off because I don't want her to read everything again. We'll just go through it.
Feel gypped or so few injects.
All right, 89 out of 100. So that's good. Hey, it's not just doing increments of 5 now, apparently. So the scoring might be a little fixed. So, so we confronted a sophisticated cyber incident impacting the IT network. It gives us a lot of praise and all that. And so we successfully identified responded actions, cost breakdown. So that's minimal. I think our cost to the incident was minimal compared to what it could be. So we had swift activation.
It's better than shutting down.
Or damage.
Yeah. Successful restoration. So enhance early detection capabilities, specifically for sophisticated phishing attacks. But it's outside of our control, right? For the exercise, that's not part of incident response. Review and it gets part of monitoring. Incident response plan, yep. Further harden, yep. I don't know. We did pretty good preventing that.
No, but Cody mentioned the procedural disconnection means pull plug.
Yeah. So, minus 5 points for delayed identification of the sophisticated attack in nature. I thought we did it pretty quickly. I don't know. We never did figure out what if it was an APT or what. Digital asset management minus 3 points for lapse in the decommissioning process of cloud. Again, it's dinging us for things that aren't part of incident response.
Yeah, challenge that one.
Yeah, I'm not going to worry about challenging it. So, here's the MITRE ATT&CK framework mapping. So, spear phishing attachment, a network discovery, lateral movement. Data clip.
Loving that.
Yeah. So, I'm going to ask you: was there an APT as indicated earlier? If so, what was it? I'm just curious. It cannot be conclusively identified without more. Okay. So the primary goal was intelligence gathering and established a foothold for long-term access. I bet you there's a certain country involved. The
The
interest
Hatman
in
threat
both
group.
initial access, sophisticated phishing campaign designed to compromise your persistence and evasion. Although the exercise ended before a full analysis of all attacker actions could be completed, the initial indications of stealthy, sophisticated attempts. So, I mean, Alex, you asked for something sophisticated in our setup, and it was sophisticated.
Looks like we got
apparently.
it. You just cut them off at the ankles.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean that's it. Yeah. So this one, but I think what this one demonstrated is that, when you ask the system, right? We specifically said, hey, let's make this higher level. Let's, make this for leadership or whatever. It scaled down the technicality of it, and it was easier, scaled down the difficulty level, and it kept it within our time frame. And so that's one thing I want to try, because all the the Stargate episode that took 2 episodes to finish that one because it went all global on us. So
Hell of a lot of fun though.
Oh yeah.
So I think this is a good example of a quick one. So yeah, any comments from anybody before we end this, because we got about 3 minutes left. So
it was a good warm up for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good warm up.
I like the different level, like the higher level stakeholder.
Yeah, it didn't throw like inject. Remember the pharmaceutical one? Just threw inject after inject after inject and just kept us on our toes.
Yeah, that's one thing I was sort of a bit bummed at, was so few injects. I was expecting at least 1 per turn, if not 2.
Yeah, and I think when you dial down the sophistication, or you dial down the technicality and make it higher level, I think it goes easy on the injects. So
I have to check that.
This is my first time trying something out like this, and I really like how you can ask it questions and it can give details.
Yeah,
I like the fact that when I'm facilitating tabletops, I don't have to do any work anymore. I don't have to, my customers are happy that I don't have to bill for all that setup time. And those engineers that are always asking technical questions, I don't have to have it pre-prepared or come up with it on top of my head. I'm just like, here, there it is.
Just relay the question and
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah,
So Cody
answered it pretty well.
go ahead. Yeah,
it's
pretty knowledgeable. So Cody, thanks for joining us on your first time. You've now been de-virginated, in auto tabletop. You're welcome back anytime. Thanks for joining us again, Gregor and Alex, and everybody who watched us live. Thanks for watching us live. And everybody's watching on recording. Thanks for watching. And it's kind of like you ever watch Talladega Nights, Ricky Bobby Talladega Nights, and at the end, in the outtakes, he's like, "If you don't chew big red gum or whatever, f you." And then it's like sometimes if you're not watching us, never mind. But
yeah, a bit of that.
So, all right, before Gregor loses it, I think we'll say our farewells and our byes. And Cody, I'll reach out to you later. You and I can do a debrief later on, Cody, if you're interested to talk about it. And whatever.
I want to come back for some more, especially.
Definitely. So we like our regulars, we like new people, and sometimes we get sick of our regulars. Alex, just kidding.
I'll keep winding you up then, otherwise you'll miss it.
Yeah,
with everything you throw at me.
Yep. All right. So thanks everybody for joining us, and we'll catch you next time.